So it's around 3 a.m. at this point, and Urban is still texting me. Keeps saying, come down to the club, come down to the club. The Fly Honeys are here, and they want to test drive my Jaguar. Disgusting. I let him know, it's too late, I'm in for the night. Plus, aren't you worried? You already missed the team flight home. Couldn't you get in trouble? He writes back, LOL pussy, I'm invincible. I don't give a flying fuck. I don't know. Then I get another text. Guess who it's from? That's right, Antonio Brown. So this night just goes from crazy to, fit for a straitjacket. What's that? We're live? Oh, shit. Hi, my name is Blake Harper, and this is Blake News.
Live from New York, it's Blake News. The Blakest news in the world. Get your news the Blake way.
We're officially 5 weeks through the season, and while there have been plenty of ups and downs in the real NFL, in the Animal House League, the only real surprise is Riley's sperm works. Who wrote that joke? No, who the fuck wrote that joke? I want to talk to them right now. I'd like to officially issue an apology for that last joke. Our newest writer, who was just hired this week, was able to sneak that into the monologue. And needless to say, we don't condone that sort of bullying at Blake News. So, John Gruden has officially been let go. Riley, once again, I apologize. I've always had the utmost faith in your sperm, and I have no doubt you are going to crush this journey towards fatherhood. Mazel to you. Now back to business. If you take a quick look at the standings, you'll find that the Animal House League is pretty much fallen the way that you expect it to. The top is very clear, and the bottom even more clear. Now, I would argue, heading into week 6, that about 5 of the 6 possible playoff spots are locked up. You have myself, you have Riley, you have Sean, you have Matt, you have Keaton. I would say anything can happen, injuries can happen, but barring any major disasters, I would argue all 5 of those guys pretty much a lock for the playoffs. And at the bottom, you have the obvious tankers, Tyler, Cody doing a phenomenal job with that tank. I would say Cameron's there. It may not have been fully intentional. And Casey, the minute that Zach Wilson became the biggest disaster to hit New York in September since 2001, he kind of had to call this. Never forget. As the season wears on, I'll have plenty of time to focus on the haves and the have-nots. Today, I'd like to play the part of the pandering, disingenuous presidential candidate and really focus on that middle class. So let's dive into it. I would argue we have 3 owners currently battling it out for the 6th and final playoff spot. We have Steven, Colin, and I guess technically Aaron. Now, what I'm going to do is focus on each one of these teams, give a look at where they're at about a third of the way through the season, and offer my advice on what they should do moving forward. So, let's start with Steven. The Hollywood Moonballers, sitting there, the clear favorite to grab the 6th spot, and I think that'll hold up. You're at 6-4, your team has a lot of talent, but my big advice for you is you got to make a move. If you really want to be a contender, if you really want to make noise in this playoff run, you need to make a move to improve your roster. I'm not even saying because of the Russ Wilson thing, because I think as long as he's back and healthy by the playoffs, that shouldn't really be a huge issue for you, because I don't think you're going to have a lot of competition for that spot. But come playoff time, you're kind of in that position where you would need everything to go right for you in order to beat the powerhouses in this league. The elite teams are just too stacked. You would need to win probably 3 games, realistically, against guys who are probably going to be scoring in the 120 to 150 easily, could even top out at the 160 to 180 range. You can't compete with that right now. You just can't. I'm sorry. I would say you have a decent amount of picks. You have a lot of running backs, which is like a huge asset in this league. I would package some of that together. I'd be talking to Aaron, who we're going to get to. I'd be talking to Cameron. I'd be talking to even Tyler, Casey, any of those guys, I'd be talking to them, trying to grab their win now players so that you can be ready come playoff time. But overall, I think you're in a good spot. I think you're pretty secure to grab the 6th seed unless things go really badly. Now, let's move on to Colin. Everyone's least favorite member of the league. Colin. Colin, I'm going to be real with you. You're just in a tough spot. I think it's the Deshaun Watson of it all. If he was healthy, I haven't read how did he get injured? What happened to him? Anyway, if Deshaun Watson was not a sexual predator and also wasn't simultaneously holding out, I guess, Colin, I think you'd be one of the contenders. But right now it's looking like there's almost no chance that Deshaun plays this year. So I think you just have to hold tight. You just have to see this through. I wouldn't tank. I also wouldn't make too crazy of moves to try and compete. I think you need to see what happens with Deshaun. The good news, and we're using good news in a relative sense, is that the National Football League is nothing if not morally bankrupt. And, before too long, I would not be surprised if Deshaun Watson was right alongside the Kareem Hunts and Ben Roethlisbergers and Antonio Browns of the world. And, playing football, even as we all know, he's pretty much a piece of shit. So I would not be shocked if by next year he's playing, he's healthy. I think you kind of have to call this year a wash, but I would not do anything too drastic. I think you just sit tight. Maybe you tank a little bit to get better picks. I don't actually immediately know your pick situation, but I wouldn't do anything too drastic. You're just in an unfortunate spot. That's all there is to it. Finally, Aaron. Aaron, buddy, you're a man after my own heart. You love instant gratification, and you hate being told to wait for shit. Bad news, your team is not even close to good enough to compete in this league. You are so many pieces short. You would be wasting your time trying to compete in the league right now. You'd have to make way too many moves. You already don't have that many picks. You have interesting players to trade. I think eventually someone will figure out a way to afford Hopkins. I still think Carr is going to be an interesting asset. I think you have guys to trade, and that needs to be your focus. I know that Sean might convince you that you have a chance to compete this year, but then again, if Sean talked to Cody, he might let him know he has a chance to compete this year. You have to be realistic, and the reality is you're fucked, man. You don't have it, and if you wait another year, all you're going to do is look back and say, shit, I just wasted a year where I could have been rebuilding. You're already behind in the rebuild game, my friend. Cody, Tyler, I think Cameron kind of. Casey's getting there. You need to think of yourself as last place in the tankathon right now, and you need to make serious leaps. I think you can do that quickly. But you really have to commit to it. You can't do this 1 foot in the water bullshit. Sorry, bud. Now, before we go, I'm just going to give my quick predictions for the upcoming week, looking at the matchups in the Animal House League. First up, we have Frat Bennett versus Atlas Novus. I think that so long as McCaffrey is back and healthy, Matt will win this matchup. I just think the Henry-McCaffrey duo is still too much. And while I don't think Hurts is a good actual NFL quarterback, I do think he's a good, valuable fantasy quarterback. So I would give it to Frat. Next up, Trout Sluna versus the Commissioner. Who gives a shit? But I guess Trout Sluna. That's not worth my analysis, to be honest. Berkeley beat Knicks versus Knickerbocker. God, these games are awful. Yeah, Sean's gonna kick his ass. Sucka Halls versus Puppy Potty. That's not gonna go well either. Riley gonna win. Hollywood Moonballers versus Chang Party. This one is interesting without Russ. I do think that Steven is going to successfully, put that dagger into Aaron's Harton officially end his season, but I would not be surprised if Steven did not end up top 6 despite winning. Marquee matchup of the week, myself, my name is Blake Harper, versus Colonel Popcorn. Tip of the hat to the Colonel so far. He's been lethal. That being said, I think I have a good shot. My team's really coming together nicely. I'm still figuring out my roster and who exactly to start, but I think I have the firepower to keep up in a shootout. I'm going to pick myself, obviously. I'm always going to pick myself no matter what, because, I'm the only me that I am. And with that, I'd like to say, have a great Thursday, everyone, and don't forget to tip your barbers. Good night.